Thank you for being with us. First of all, I think it's important to describe what you're seeing and what you're hearing in and around the border towns right now. How would you characterize the number of migrants coming over at this point?
Well, just to put it in perspective, the Border Patrol Chief, Chief Ortiz, actually shared some information last week. So within the week, the U.S. Border Patrol encountered over 55,000 illegal immigrants across the southwest border, and of course, over 18,000 known gotaways as well. That's just within 1 week. And of course, daily encounters across the southwest border have exceeded over 8,000 a day, and some days over 9,000. So we're already seeing an unprecedented number of illegal immigrants coming across our border pre-Title 42, and it's been happening for the past 2 years, even with Title 42 in place. Now, of course, once Title 42 is completely gone, we can expect to see those numbers increase significantly, probably even double throughout the day.
So Thursday's the day. How many more migrants are you expecting, and what steps is DPS doing to prepare for that?
Well, Marty, we're keeping a close eye on the shelters in Mexico. We have thousands right now that are camping out along the Rio Grande River in Mexico right now. That's what we're trying to keep a close eye on. We don't have an exact number, exactly how many are in those camps, but this is throughout the southwest border on the other side in Mexico. So we can expect to see, and of course, even the administration has even said themselves that we can expect to see anywhere from 13,000 to 18,000 throughout the day along the southwest border. But of course, that still remains to be seen. But as we take a proactive approach on the state side with DPS, we have deployed thousands of National Guard soldiers to throughout the southwest border. We have DPS troopers as well. And even the governor most recently this morning announced a specialized team of National Guardsmen that will be deployed to strategic areas along the border where we see an increased flow of people coming across. So they're doing a great job as well, trying to stem that flow and trying to funnel that activity to the port of entry. But again, there's just so many people coming across. It's hard to keep control as far as who's coming across the border. Border Patrol is tied up. So that's what makes it very challenging, is trying to control the amount of people that are coming across.
And Lieutenant, talk about the humanitarian side of this situation, the strain that it puts on resources to provide food and shelter for thousands of migrants who are already here and then preparing for the next wave.
Well, I mean, these shelters, NGOs, they're not prepared. I mean, of course, for the flow of people coming across, and even more so now, where it's been a constant flow of people coming across by the thousands. Shelters are at capacity on both sides in the United States as well as in Mexico. You have migrants that are sleeping in the streets, little kids that are sleeping in the streets. Look what's happening in El Paso right now. You have over 2,000 that are homeless in the city right now because the shelters are at capacity. So again, this is all pre-Title 42. So it only kind of puts in perspective what's going to take place and what to expect once Title 42 is lifted, where these shelters on both sides, NGOs don't have the capacity to house these migrants. So again, we're going to see more of this humanitarian crisis on both sides. And of course, the most vulnerable populations, children that are being, of course, exploited and victimized because of this current situation. So that's where we need some more help as far as, from the administration to actually step in and do something to try to alleviate that flow from these shelters.
There is a bill, Lieutenant, to keep Title 42 in place for the next 2 years. Is that an option that you and others on the front lines would welcome at this point?
Well, of course, most definitely. But, of course, there was policies that were working on day one, in the prior 2 years. So you have the Remain in Mexico policy, you have the Safe Third Country agreements, the border wall construction, all that was working. But of course, when that was completely dismantled, we saw this increased flow, and it's been happening throughout the years, and it's been more consistent, even more so now. But of course, any policy that's going to help stem that flow and control the flow of people coming across and prevent people, migrants that are sleeping in the streets and where shelters are at capacity, of course, it's always going to be beneficial. But again, that's what we need right now to stop this flow. But again, even with that in place, Marni, even with Title 42 in place, we're still seeing record number of mass migration that's taking place.
And one thing that Republicans are proposing, you brought up the wall, is restarting construction of a border wall, also adding about 25,000 more agents. What do you like about that approach?
Well, of course, Border Patrol needs all the help they can get. I mean, they need agents, but of course, they need agents to be in the field focusing on criminal work, not processing. That would defeat the whole purpose of hiring more Border Patrol agents. They need to be out in the field looking for criminals, those that are potential threats to public safety and also national security, as well as the border wall construction. Governor Greg Abbott, has already, constructed, several portions of the border wall along the Rio Grande River. So we're taking steps as far as a state, but of course, it's not the responsibility of Texas to step in and do what we're doing right now. We need the federal government to step in and actually do that. And of course, a border wall, a barrier is beneficial for law enforcement. It does funnel activity to certain areas where you don't have multiple gaps along the border. So as a law enforcement too, it is needed.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.